Welcome to BizTech's Asia Pacific Cybersecurity Show. Every week, we update the region on the latest threats and incidences to help you protect yourselves better. Today's show, as usual, we have our co-host Benjamin Ang, Head of Cyber and Homeland Defence at the Centre of Excellence for National Security at the S. Rajaratnam School of International Studies at the Nanyang Technological University in Singapore. Ben, as always, welcome to the show.
As always, glad to be here.
Now, Ben, for a start, we lead with news out of Australia, where there has been a major data breach at Latitude Financial. Now, the company found that it had data breached from about 14 million people, as opposed to the 330 it first believed. And also, apparently, the attacker managed to use the stolen employee data credentials to access customer data stored in its service providers before Latitude was able to isolate the incident. So it's a huge impact on Australia and New Zealand. 7.9 million Australian and New Zealand driver licenses were stolen, 53,000 passport numbers, and also 6.1 million records dating back to 2005 were accessed, including name, address, telephone number, and date of birth. Now, Ben, what's your take on this, and what should we be doing to look after ourselves moving forward?
Well, I guess, Brian, the first thing is that if it happens in Australia and New Zealand, does it affect the rest of us? Yes, it does, because Latitude provides this interest-free installments for purchasing things like hi-fis and things, not only in Australia, but also Canada, Singapore, and other Asian countries as well. And you buy things online, you might have given them your personal info. That's why you see the number that they gave 14 million is so huge. They've only found like 7 million. So for us, I mean, if you've ever bought something online and you find your financial info or personal info is stolen, the first thing we need to do, unfortunately, is change your password. Again, change your password.
Okay.
And change to a secure password. Some people say don't write it down. I say write it down, because chances of somebody stealing that paper are less than finding it online. Monitor your credit card statement and all the other bank statements. I know it's tedious, I know it's troublesome, but watch out, even for relatively small purchases which they're using to test to see whether you're paying attention. Dispute any frauds you find. And then protect yourself by switching on things like two-factor authentication so that you get notified, or transaction alerts. You get notified if anybody is trying to transact on your bank or your credit card.
Okay, I think the key message this time, which we've not mentioned in our previous shows, is actually monitor your cards. Just keep an eye on that. And I, for one, don't do that enough. Thank you very much for that piece of advice, Ben.
Okay.
Now, we're going to now switch over to Malaysia, where the Credit Counseling and Debt Management Agency has experienced a security breach. The AKPK, as it's known domestically, said it received and rejected a ransomware request and a response, which of course relevant authorities and experts agreed with. Now, as a result of the breach, the AKPK has decided to take some of its operational systems offline temporarily to prevent further risks. Now, Ben, what's your view on this incident and how they handled it?
I feel a lot of sympathy for them, because when I was in a CIO role in the past, it happened to me. And when your systems are down, you just have to take it down to protect your customers, to protect your employees. And not paying ransom is the right thing to do, because when you pay ransom, there are many cases where the cyber criminals, they don't release your data. In some cases, they don't even know how to release your data because they've encrypted it and they don't know how to unlock. So don't pay ransom. But we, as business owners, you need to be prepared to take your systems offline if you need to. So we need backups. We need business continuity planning. Remember that old thing from the 90s? Business continuity planning is a thing. You need to have a way to do business with your customers, even if your main systems are offline. And then be prepared for these kind of attacks by having somebody you can call, whether it's the authorities, whether it's a consultant, somebody you got on speed dial. If this happens, you hope to never call them, but someday you might have to.
And Ben, I think that's a key thing, and I'm going to repeat that. be prepared as a business owner to take your systems offline, be prepared for a ransomware attack, have consultants that you can call when you need to. And key thing also, don't succumb to the threat. Don't pay ransom. On that note, Ben, we're going to take a look at some good news that happened over the past week. Vietnamese engineers won $115,000 from hacking Microsoft and Oracle in a competition. Now, tell us about this, Ben.
There are ongoing competitions like this. This is the Pwn to Own annual hacking competition, which is organized by Zero Day Initiative. And what they have is a competition where you get to exploit certain vulnerabilities in certain like top systems. And Vietnamese engineers actually came in just third behind a team from France and a team from Singapore.
Oh, fantastic. So I think one of the key things this points to is, of course, then the war for talent is ongoing in terms of the cybersecurity space. This is one of the ways that people identify future talent that they can hire. And speaking of great opportunities for engineers in Asia in cybersecurity, Singapore just released today their new criteria for employment pass holders, and they've unveiled a point system where cybersecurity professionals are one of those 27 in-demand professions.
We welcome anyone who's a cybersecurity professional. We want you here. Of course, if you can work in your home countries, of course, yes, please, help your home countries. But, if you want to come here, we welcome you.
Now, Ben, on that note, that's it for this week's APAC Cybersecurity Show. Thanks for coming on the show, Ben.
Always happy to, Brian. Thanks.
Now, we've been speaking to Benjamin Ang, Head of Cyber and Homeland Defence at NTU on BizTech's Asia Pacific Cybersecurity Show. I'm Brian Fernandez. This interview will be on our website, www.biztech.asia, as well as our syndication partners, TV stations, radio stations, and websites. Thanks a lot for tuning in.